Hello, and welcome back to the Jolly Ranchers YouTube channel. We are a small group of people making a video game called The Kid Detective, using techniques similar to what you'll see me using today. We are expanding on the inventory system, showing how it could be used for a larger game like Monkey Island or Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, which is a game very similar to the one that we are making, The Kid Detective. By the end of this video, we will be telling a small story with our point-and-click adventure game called The Big Heist, so stay tuned for that. Please subscribe, comment, like, and turn on post notifications because that would help me a lot and help other people be able to make amazing video games like the ones that you love to play. And I would love to play more of them too, which is why I'm making these videos. Please, if you want to see me make anything using Fungus, that's not an inventory, a side scroller, a top-down adventure into 3D, please leave a comment below and I'll be sure to try to do that in the future. But as for now, enjoy the making of The Big Heist and an inventory system. Okay, so we have a single inventory item, the padlock, which can do one thing. In this video, we want to show how you might be able to have an inventory item that does many things, or an inventory item that only does something when you're in a specific place with a specific person. Right now, the only location we have is the pawn shop. I'm just going to rename this pawn shop menu. And that's because we're going to have many different blocks like alleyway menu or kitchen menu to keep track of. And we're going to want the inventory to bring us back here if we, say, have a back button in our inventory, which we don't have yet. So first things first is I'm going to create some extra places for us to go. Just drag in some files, make a new view to go to. Okay, so we're going to need a new menu button in the menu options. Right now we have a screen that allows you to steal things, to talk to whoever's in the room, and to check your inventory. But we probably want one more, and we're just going to call it Move. And we are going to zoom out a little bit in our flowchart here because it's about to get wild. And I'm going to right-click and add a new block, and we're going to call it Move. And I will show you what we're going to do with this move block later, because there's a way to sort of streamline the process of moving from one place to another. But first, we're going to create our other menu blocks for our alleyway and our kitchen, where in the big heist, we are going to steal Mom's cookies. That is the objective of the video game, The Big Heist. And when we do that, we'll win, and that's when the video will end. That was from a suggestion from one of our viewers. Please leave more suggestions in the comments below if you would like to see a story unfold before your eyes of your own making. So I'm going to make one block called Alleyway Menu, and I'm going to make another block called Kitchen Menu. Once again, sounds delicious. And as your flowchart gets more and more immense, which I will show you some of my flowcharts where I embark on a similar mission as this. You know, show you some alternate ways to organize things at the end of this video. For now, I'm going to copy the stuff from this block as a template for these other blocks because I want them to behave the same way. Command C to copy and Command V. I don't want this to move to the pawn shop view. I want this one to move to the alleyway view. I do want to set the menu dialog to menu dialog, and we might have new clickable objects for the alleyway, but it's looking pretty sparse. So we might not have anything to steal in the alleyway. And we need to connect this block to our move block. Same with the pawn shop menu, and I'm just going to keep doing this process for the next block. Okay, something that is going to help us a lot with the function of our inventory as well as moving between places is we're going to create a new integer variable called location. An integer variable is 1, 2, 3 0, -1, -2, -3. It's no 1.1 or 2.5 or any point value. That would be a float variable. And the reason we are going to want this will become clear, but for now, when you enter the pawn shop, I want to go to variable, set variable, and I am going to set our new location variable to equal 1. That will be so that when you go to the inventory, the variable will be set to the location that you once were, and in the inventory we'll create a back button that will send you back to the place where you opened the inventory, so that you don't just appear somewhere random after you close the inventory, but also so that when I click my padlock inventory item, and I'm going to go here to flow and select if the location equals 1, then Betty can help me with her locksmithing powers unlock this padlock to the cash register. But if I'm in another location, for instance, we can represent that by saying else. In any other circumstance, clicking this inventory item will not do anything because there'll be no one to help us unlock it. We're going to want something in this else because otherwise we'll just be stuck here. And I'm going to create that block right now. And I'm just going to create a block called back. And it's going to be a really simple block. I'm going to go to flow and say if location equals 1, then flow. We're going to call the pawn shop menu. We want to go back to the pawn shop. Then we're going to go to flow again, else if location equals 2. We're going to set the alleyway location to 2 in a second. If location equals 2, then we will call the alleyway menu. And for now, we can actually just do an else here instead of an else if, because we only have 3 locations because this is the smallest game you'll ever play. Else, we will go to the kitchen menu. And then we are just going to put an end at the end of this. Back to our padlock inventory clicked. Right here, if location doesn't equal 1 and Betty's not there to help us with the padlock, we want to call our back function. And that will bring us back to wherever we are. It's called back 1 because I've already named something else back. Don't do this. Don't do this, folks. Yes, it's when we're stealing stuff. I'm going to name this back pawn shop, just so we're clear that it's different from the universal back. This type of organization will become important as your game becomes massive. So I'm just going to go ahead and set the location variable in the alleyway and in the kitchen. Now that we have set the location variables, we can now do something in our move block. What I've done in my game and attempts at games along the way is I've done if location is 1, then so if you're in the pawn shop, then you're going to want some menu options to choose where you want to go. We're going to have one be alleyway, and we are going to have one be kitchen. And then because we're in the pawn shop, we're going to want the next one to just be back. And I'm going to redirect them to the back button, which is so multi-purpose, I must say. Can't recommend the back button more. And we are going to make the kitchen, go to the kitchen menu, and we are going to make the alleyway, go to the alleyway menu. And we're going to repeat this process for our other locations, else if location equals 2. So if we're in the alleyway, we're going to want one of the options to be pawn shop, and we are going to be able to copy this one and put it here, and then we'll have the back, which will send us back to the location that we're at. And then for our last location, we can do else because the only other option is that we'll be in location 3. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and set the default value here of the integer location to 1, because if we start the game and we're at 0, there's a future in which this else sends us to the kitchen no matter what, because we set the default value of the integer to 0. So just be careful of these default values when you're creating variables. Make sure you don't start the game with a variable that you'll never set it to in the game. Okay, so if we're in the kitchen, I want us to be able to go to the pawn shop and to the alleyway and back as well. And then we will put our end block at the end so that the computer knows to stop going through this loop and can rest its weary head. This end block is important if I had like a say command after this. The say command would only execute in the event of an else, whereas if I put a say command after this, it would execute no matter what. Well, I'm not sure that's true in this case, but in a case where you have more commands after an if statement, then you definitely want to use the end block. Do not forget about it. Let's go in and test out our basic move function and see if it is broken. As usual, this looks extremely good. I'm Betty, and I'm here to help you steal it all, baby. Okay, time to steal all the goods, or my name's not Bleedy Ray Wilson. Okay, let's move. Let's go to the alleyway. Ooh, wow. Provocative. And we don't have anything in our inventory, and we don't have a back button. Oops. So I'm pretty sure the move works. Let me just go ahead and add a back button to the inventory. Just another menu option that says back. And it goes to the back block. Okay, let's see if it works. We go to the inventory. We have a back button. That brings us back to where we once were. That's good news. We can go to the alleyway. We can go to the kitchen. And we can seemingly go back to the pawn shop. We can steal our one thing, my broken back button, which is just a white hexagon. It looks really bad, but oh, here we have an amazing doubling of the menu. Okay, so as you can see there, I clicked the back button twice in a row because my back button looked so bad that I couldn't even tell if I clicked it or not. You probably won't have this problem because you can and will make a more beautiful back button than I have, but a handy thing for if someone is just like absolutely spamming clicks on a button. What happened is I clicked it twice, and so it called pawn shop menu twice. And as you can see, the menu options appeared 3 on top of 3, 6 different options. We did not need that many. We only need the 3 ever to appear. So if this happens to you, and even if it doesn't, someone will go about your game spamming clicks. I'm going to go to my clickable objects pawn shop, and I am just going to, once you click it, I'm going to set the back button to false immediately so you can't click it again. Let's test if our inventory item works with a given location. Before we wrap up, let's make maybe one more inventory item, stealing the cookies, happen in a different location. And then that should really be it for you'll be able to at least extrapolate what you can do with this very basic inventory system. So I've got the padlock. It works because Betty is in the room with me. Let's move to another location and see if it refuses us. And it refused us. Just like we wanted it to. I am going to just create one more inventory item in another place, finish up this beautiful game called The Big Heist, and I'll show you a few other examples of basic inventories that I've used and ways that I've used them in my own games, show you a few flowcharts of my own, and talk through them for the end of this video. Hopefully it will give you some ideas of your own of if this type of inventory using only Fungus will be appropriate for the kind of game that you are making. And if not, I will continue to make videos about different types of inventories inventories you can make using Fungus or make to work with Fungus to use in other games. This is the final showcase of The Big Heist Episode 1, what you can do with a basic inventory system for a game as simple as like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney or, a Monkey Island, perhaps. If you have a set amount of items, 10 to 20 inventory items at a time, this can be a pretty fast and easy way to do this. This whole thing took me about 8 hours total to tell a little story that you were about to see. Hi, I'm Betty, and I'm here to help you steal it all, baby. Okay, time to steal all the goods or my name's not Bleeder Ray Wilson. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna steal the money from the cash register, but oh no, it's locked with a padlock. I will go to my inventory. I'll click on my padlock, and Betty's gonna help. Wow. Partners forever. As you can see, this in the state it is, this is a bad. You would want a few hints on what to do. But hopefully this is a good display. Okay, we've stolen the stuff. I'm going to escape into the alleyway. But what's this? There's a mysterious baby that I'm going to talk to. Oh. What are you doing in this darkened alley at this time of night? Ooh, an even better score. My mom just baked a fresh batch of cookies. Gasp. Go, quickly to the kitchen. Bring them back here. Okay, I will. I will go to the kitchen. I will steal the cookies. I think this is the cookie jar. I better share these with that adorable criminal baby. But if I go to my inventory and I select the cookies, which I did not include option text for, if I select the cookies here, it doesn't do anything. It sends me back. But if I go to the alleyway and I select the cookies from my inventory when I'm with this baby, I brought the cookies. Ah, yes, excellent. Go ahead and have the first bite. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Wow, they're so delicious. I might just die. And that very day, Bleedy Ray Wilson was poisoned by a mysterious baby. The baby made off with all the money from the cash register. But will Betty get revenge for her fallen comrade? Find out next time on The Big Heist. So this is a very basic representation of how easy it is to use Fungus. I told that little stupid story. The UI did not look very good, but I told it in only 8 hours of work. And if you knew how little that was for making a video game, you would be absolutely wowed. Just by watching my last 4 videos on making pixel art, animating pixel art, and Fungus basics and such, you can make a game of this caliber, of frankly greater caliber, using just Fungus commands. As you can see, the inventory, there's lots of this if else stuff going on. It gets pretty chunky the more you add. If you're using your inventory items in multiple places, it's going to get pretty chunky in here too. I can go ahead and show you some of my flowcharts that I've attempted in the past. I'm making a sort of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney style trial system, and it can get pretty hairy in here. So let me real quick see if I can show you some of that. So here you can see, this is as far as I can zoom out the flowchart window. I guess I can make it larger. These are my clickable rooms, replete with clickable objects. These are all the talk options for the characters in those rooms. And this is the inventory where you do a bit of puzzle solving, and it can get pretty titanic. This is where you solve the case, picking the means, murders, and motives and opportunities. Not the murders. There's one murder that you're trying to solve. If we get over here into the trial, I'll show you the inventory and how it's used in the trial. And if you're familiar with Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games, then it's extremely possible to build one using only Fungus. It's just that my game is maybe a little bit more complicated, so I had to switch to a code-based solution for my inventory. But as you can see, there's a clue about the victim's neck. If you corroborate that clue with someone else, it gets updated to a more complete clue. And then if you corroborate that with another piece of evidence, the clue updates again. If a witness is giving a certain testimony, you can select a bit of that testimony and cross-examine it. And if you choose the coat, then you successfully cross-examine that evidence. But as you can see, we're getting nested if statements. I think with the new version of Fungus that I was just showing, you don't have to do these nested if statements. There was some more complex variable calculation going on with the new version of Fungus that I was just using for the big heist. So I could get into that more for future videos, and I might even get into collections. On the Fungus Discord, we are doing good work figuring out collections and figuring out how to come up with a save system for that. And so maybe in about a month or so, I can come out with a video using that as an inventory. That was The Big Heist, Episode 1. I'm sure you're excited. The Big Heist will continue through various other attempts at inventories and using Fungus in other ways. I'm thinking of making a video about using coding an inventory using C# that works with Fungus, which is what we're doing for the Kid Detective, our game. I am listening to the experts on the Fungus Discord about using collections, which is a relatively new feature of Fungus. It would be really useful to use for inventories, but it is not save compatible with Fungus yet. So if you're interested, please comment below on what you would like to see. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a like. We love ya, and stay jolly. Oh, also I have a podcast called The Brothers Pym where we tell stories. We have more than 100 episodes. It's improvised storytelling. We play a Blades in the Dark hack. We play a Dungeon World hack to tell amazing stories. There's original music by myself and our good friend Andrew Pendergrast that's featured on the show. So please tune into that. We love you.